I'm Michaela.
I'm Jenna.
I'm Chloe.
And this is
Our Kindred Chaos.
Today, we're going to be just reading from the No Sleep Reddit. Oh my gosh, the No Sleep subreddit. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Reddit's the app. So, if you aren't familiar with Reddit, there's a bunch of subreddits where pretty much anyone or most anyone can post in them. And the No Sleep subreddit is like spooky stories. So if that is not for you, go ahead and turn this off right now. Or if it's midnight and you're home alone, you probably don't want to watch this. Save it for tomorrow on your commute to work, okay?
Amen.
Anyway, so I've found one, so I'm going to go ahead and start with mine. I ordered a pizza from a place that doesn't exist anymore, and now it won't stop showing up on my phone. This is probably just a glitch or maybe a prank or something. I don't know. But I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. It happened a few nights ago. I couldn't sleep and I was super hungry, like stomach growling, head throbbing kind of hungry. Hungover. It doesn't say that, but that's what I got in my head. It was around 1:45 a.m. and of course everything around me was closed. I opened Uber Eats just to check, thinking maybe I'd get lucky in some crappy gas station place or whatever. Most of it was grayed out. But then I see a listing near the bottom, Uncle Sal's Pizza. I'd never heard of it before. No reviews, no address listed, no hours, nothing. Just this blurry picture of a slice of pepperoni pizza that looked like it was taken on a flip phone through a dirty window or something. Honestly, it looked kind of gross. But I was tired and starving and did not care. The menu only had 3 things. 1 topping slice, $5. The house special, $13. The usual slice, $9. No descriptions, nothing else. I picked the usual slice because I don't even know. The name felt weirdly familiar. Like something I'd heard of before but couldn't place. Just felt kind of personal, I guess. Anyway, I ordered it. The app said ETA 11 minutes, which made no sense at the hour, but whatever. It ended up taking like 15. I never saw a car, never heard anyone, just got the notification that it had been delivered. When I opened the door, the box was just there. Dead center on the porch. Uber Eats had a photo of it, but the photo looked old? Like a grainy discolored, like something scanned from a printout. That was definitely the Reddit user, not me. The box itself looked straight out of 1998. Red and white checkerboard pattern, weird cartoon chef on the front, and it was yellowed, like it had been in storage for years. Inside, the pizza was warmish, but clearly not fresh. The cheese had hardened in a gross way where it doesn't pull apart, just rips. The pepperoni was shriveled and crunchy on the edges. It smelled like, I don't know how to describe it. Not spoiled, just old. Like basement pizza, but also familiar. Like almost like something I had from when I was a kid. I ate 1 slice and tossed the rest. It wasn't even good. I just felt weird. Next morning, I go to check the list again, and it's just gone. Like it was never there, not marked as closed, just completely vanished. Even the order in my history had said unavailable. No name, no contact, nothing. That creeped me out more than I wanted to admit. So I called my mom later that afternoon, just randomly asked, "Hey, do you remember a place called Uncle Sal's?" She just went quiet for a second and was like, "Where did you hear that?" I told her it came up on Uber Eats and I just ordered from it, and she got really quiet after that. Then she goes, "That place shut down when you were little. Like, little. You don't remember?" Apparently it used to be in this old strip mall not far from where we used to live. She said we went there a few times when I was a toddler, birthday parties, stuff like that. She said it always smelled weird, even back then. Then she said something that actually made me feel sick. The owner, Sal, he killed himself in the restaurant after they shut it down. I think you were 4? They found him in the dining room. He wouldn't leave after the health department condemned the place. He hanged himself with an extension cord from one of the ceiling fans. I didn't know what to say to that. I don't remember any of it. I don't remember the place existing. But I drove out there. I had to. It's like 15 minutes from my apartment now. The strip mall is basically dead. One of those places with boarded up windows, trash in the parking lot, and a couple stores that look like fronts for scams. And there it was. The old sign's still up. Uncle Sal's Pizza. The windows are filthy, but you can still kind of see inside. The booths are still there. One of those claw machine things in a corner. Crumpled up paper napkins on the floor like it's been frozen in time. And up on the counter, a pizza box. Same design as the one I got. I didn't go in. I just left. I felt off ever since. And here's the part that really messed me up. Just a few minutes ago, I got a notification on my phone from Uber Eats. Late night hunger? Why not reorder from Uncle Sal's Pizza? I have no idea how it got through. I deleted the app from my phone. I even turned off push notifications from everything. I don't know if it's a bug or some marketing gone wrong or something else. The thing is, I can still smell it. That old pizza smell, like cardboard and dust and warm pepperoni grease. And part of me, a tiny, disgusting part, actually wants to order it again.
That just sounds more gross than anything. Like, I don't know.
Okay. I get like, it gives off the feels of like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
You know, like you know exactly what it, like if you've been there, even really if you haven't been there, you probably know exactly what it smells like, what it looks like. It smells like cheap pizza and kids' feet. I barely remember anything from Chuck E. Cheese besides like the creepy animatronics that like, they had them there, but like they'd only went off every once in a while. And then they had like a big old play tunnel, which you know what those smell like.
Those literally.
And then we would always just get like their like cheese pizza there. It was like literally like cardboard with cheese on it.
I feel like any child's place like that is always the same. Cardboard pizza with cheese, and it smells terrible.
Pretty much. Like, you guys remember Incredible Pizza, right?
Yeah.
What? It was Incredible Pizza, and then it was called Getty Town, and then I think it's something else now.
Because we went there a lot for my birthday.
Yeah, we had been there several times. The thing is, though, like, I remember it. I don't remember ever eating there, which maybe we did. And I just remember, like, a little bit of what the arcade looked like, and then they had, like, go-karts or something.
Yeah. I always wanted to go because I could actually, like, drive the go-karts there. Because I was little. And so it was so much fun that I just wanted to be able to drive the go-karts.
Okay, Jenna, you're going to read yours?
Oh, yeah. I'll go through here. He's kicking at me.
He likes the scratches.
Mm-hmm.
So good, those scratches, so good. How good are those scratches, Coda? 10 out of 10.
All right, I'm going to keep going. Have you heard of the board game Messy Hands? Don't play it. I brought a new game. The four of us crowded around the folding table in a dingy basement. Somehow, Nadia, Rupert, Todd, and I had managed to stay friends past our college days. Even though we were all graduated, working professionals with mortgages, and some of us children, every Tuesday night we still crammed together in the basement of Nadia's childhood home to play board games. When our fifth member, Paul, was here, we'd continue our D&D campaign, but he was gone more and more on business trips. Todd pulled the lid off the board game. What is it? I asked. No idea, Todd said. That's part of the fun. Found it at the back of my parents' game closet. Which means we have to take half an hour to figure out the rules, Nadia snorted. It doesn't look so bad, Todd said. Already he was taking the board out, unfolding it, and centering it on the table. He placed 4 tokens, one for each of us, on the starting line and the stack of cards in the center. It doesn't, I agreed. Geez, when is this game from? It's so faded. Messy Hands read from the lid of the box. It looks like some simplified version of life. We sure we don't want to play Catan? It will be fun, Tom insisted, an edge of annoyance in his tone. Not surprising. The 4 of us, 5 including Paul, had been friends for years. We were masters at forgiving each other by now, which also meant we were masters at getting on each other's nerves. Fights were common, but we always resolved them. Let's give it a chance, I said, before a fight could break out. Todd spent less than a minute scanning the rules. Okay, pretty simple. Just take turns flipping over a card and doing what they say on the back. Nadia, ladies first. She shrugged and grabbed the card. She read it, then set it on the table where we could all read it. Do a jumping jack to advance 1 space. Okay, she giggled. So it's like some lame version of Truth or Dare? You gotta do it, I said. She did, and moved her token forward once. I flipped over a card. Lick your neighbor's hand to advance 2 spaces. 2 spaces, Nadia said. Not fair. Her tone was uncaring, though. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't want to lick anybody's hand just standing next to me if we're playing board
Chloe,
games.
I'll lick your hand right now. Actually, wait, it was petting the dog.
Gross.
2 spaces. Checkmate.
I can make 3 spaces.
Moving on. Okay. None of us seemed to care much about this kid's game. We were doing it to appraise Todd, though even he was looking skeptical now. No harm in playing along to make him less embarrassed, though. So I dropped my face dramatically and touched my tongue to Rupert's hand. Disgusting, he laughed. I pushed my token 1 past Nadia's. Rupert was next. All right, tell a secret to advance 2 spaces. Or draw again. Uh-oh, he said. You're right, this is like Truth or Dare. You're stalling, Todd said. He rolled his eyes. Fine. You know how I said your new haircut looks good? Yeah, well, it's all uneven in the back. He flipped another card. Tell a bigger secret to advance 1 more space. Draw again. What the...
Is this like the book, I Know What You Did Last Summer?
It's starting to kind of seem like that, isn't it? Rupert looked at Todd. Did you set this up? Todd shrugged. It was odd to get those cards one after another. Then again, we hadn't actually shuffled them. They'd probably come like that. Well, okay, Rupert said. Let's see. In high school, I was in the same lit class as my brother who took it 2 years before. He'd given me his old computer with all his old files, so I would just turn in his same essays for homework. Nadia oohs, and we all laugh. It sounded like something Rupert would have done. He's always been the most amoral of us, to say the least. He flips his 3rd card. Tell your biggest secret to advance 1. Again, Rupert looked up at Todd. Okay, not funny anymore. I swear I didn't put that there. Okay, well, I'm done. You take your turn. Todd reached for his card, but his hand jerked back. It shocked me. What? Rupert asked. I'm serious. The cards shocked me. That's ridiculous. Nadia started, but her hand jerked back too when she touched them. Rupert touched one. Nothing happened. You guys are hilarious. Curious, I tapped the pile next, with the very edge of my pinky. Intense electricity shot up my arm into my shoulder and down my legs. I sprang back, nearly tipping my chair. We all looked at each other. Nobody was smiling anymore. We were all looking at each other. It isn't our turn, I said. Hesitantly, Rupert flipped the next card. Tell your biggest secret. I'm out. Red-faced, he snatched his coat from the back of the chair and stormed out of the basement. When he got there, he swore, What is this? We rushed over. He was straining against a clearly locked basement door. Why was he so angry? I'm sick of this game, he screamed, and before any of us could react, he kicked at the flimsy basement door, splintering it. Then he threw the door open to reveal a wall. The one way out was entirely sealed, pretty much, as if it had been that way for years. We all stared. I swear I don't know what's going on, Todd said. Rupert stormed past us to the window. He climbed on a chair and shoved it open, but even from my spot, I could see the window was walled in too. We spent minutes exploring the basement for a way out, but it was entirely unexplainably sealed off. None of our cell phones worked either. Messy hands, Nadia whispered finally. I think we have to finish the game before it lets us out. I'm not doing that, Rupert insisted. Why not? Asked Todd. Come on, I don't want to be trapped in here just because you can't tell us a dumb secret. Yeah? Why? I asked. What's the secret? What? We all asked over and over and over. What couldn't he tell us? Finally, Rupert exploded. I'm cheating on Rachel. Okay, happy?
Okay, well, I knew it was either cheating or murder, but
I
don't
was
know which
leaning
one's
towards murder.
worse.
But
I know it was like I killed a man once.
what the
Okay, sorry, continue.
Okay. We all gawked. Rachel was his wife of 5 years. They had a kid together. We liked Rachel.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
Rachel.
Rupert was already trying at the basement door again, but the wall was still there, solid as before. We had to keep playing.
Rachel possessed the game. She was like, I know he's cheating, and put some witchcraft on that thing, and just. I'll never cheat on me, okay? Sorry, okay, continue.
That's one way to do it, I
Not
guess.
funny.
All right. Todd went next, trembling. Point at your least favorite friend to advance to.
Rupert.
Everybody close your eyes, he instructed us. We did. Okay, he said after a few seconds and moved his piece forwards. Even if we hadn't seen who he pointed at, it'd be a surprise to me how quickly he'd chosen. Nadia was next. Do another jumping jack to advance 1. Not all. Apparently, she
Nadia
needs to
is
work
like-
out.
I was just about to say that. He said, Nadia, get off the couch, you fat.
Put them
Oh my-
potato chips away.
Bro. Okay. All right. Not all of them were bad, not nearly as bad as Rupert's first turn. We went one by one, doing whatever things the game said. Then, from then on, if we had to confess something distasteful, the rest of us would follow Todd's example and plug our ears. For one turn, I had to strip completely down, but the others all closed their eyes until I was dressed again. Slowly, the cards got worse. There were still the occasional freebies. For some reason, jumping jacks kept popping up for Nadia.
Oh my gosh.
But overall, the task became less harmless. Cut 6 inches from your hair to advance 1.
My hair's only 2 inches long.
Nadia teared up.
Oh.
Her hair wasn't long to begin with.
No.
6 inches would be practically a pixie cut. She took nearly an hour to work up the nerve. She tried screaming at the sealed up door and failed over and over to connect to the non-existent Wi-Fi. We didn't coerce her, but eventually she grabbed a pair of scissors in tears and seared off most of her hair.
Bro, I would have just like. Just
Yeah,
get
just-
me out of here. Like, I'll shave it
Anything
all
to
off.
leave.
Literally.
It was nearly 8 a.m. now. Our families would be wondering where we were. My turn. Draw blood to advance 1. Draw again. The draw agains were never a good sign. I used a box cutter to poke at my finger until a line of red appeared. Draw more to advance 1. Draw again. Wonderful. Just great. I used the box cutter on my thigh this time. And when I tried to pick up another card, though, it shocked me. I cut again until the blood was dripping onto my socks. Draw more to advance 1 from somebody else. At least there's not another draw again, I said. Do me, Rupert volunteered. He'd been pretty silent since his turn. I knelt down to his leg. Wait, said Nadia. Head wounds bleed the most for the shallowest cuts. Sorry, I told him. It took nearly 3 slices along the top of his scalp before the game determined it was enough. We were close now. My token was the farthest on the very last space before the finish box. The others were only a space or 2 behind that. Rupert's turn. Text your wife you want to divorce to advance 1.
Oh.
But our phones don't even. Rupert stopped short as his phone pinged. Text after text flooded in. He tried calling, but that wouldn't work. He tried messaging people, but nothing went through despite the full bars. Of course it wouldn't work. We'd accepted that by now. We were playing the game's rules now. The only thing his phone would work for was texting one person one message. Rupert pressed send, and his reception bars disappeared. He was crying now, too. But at least he was with me on the board, the last space before the finish. Todd's turn. Break your hand to advance 1. Draw again. This task took him nearly half an hour. We'd considered just having one of us do it to break his hands for him. But of course, what if that didn't work? What if it had to be him? Then he'd have to break both his hands because we'd done it wrong. Instead, Todd punched the wall in the doorway until he was screaming in pain. To his credit, he never cried. Break somebody else's hand to advance 2. Do me, I said. Rupert already got all cut up. What about me, Nadia said. Is this because I'm a girl? How about we put off the gender equality conversation for another time, all right? I looked away as Todd, still trembling from his own hand, slammed the hammer against my backhand. As it happens, I did cry. I can't do it, Nadia said in her turn. We're almost done, Rupert said. You're the only one with 2 spots left, and those 2 need to get to the hospital. We can't take long turns anymore. Please just go. I knew he was thinking of his wife. She'd be awake by now with the text on her screen and him gone all night. He had to be desperate to explain. Nadia flipped her card. Point at somebody to advance 2. That was it. No cut off your limb or bite your tongue. Just point at somebody. It was too easy. Die? So far, the game had been straightforward with us, but 2 spaces meant Nadia would win, be done. But something was up. I was just about to say this when she shrugged and pointed at Rupert. His head exploded.
At least he doesn't have to go get the door.
Oh,
no.
This is not much better. This is still going. We're not done yet. My ears rang. My mouth. The taste of him was in my gaping mouth. This couldn't be real. Rupert couldn't actually be. He wasn't. Down on the board, his token had disintegrated. Just like that, a point and a snap, Rupert was gone. His child had no father. Finish it, Nadia sobbed at me. Please. Todd was too in shock to move. I flipped my last card. Point at somebody to advance 1. I'd known it was coming. After Nadia's turn, I'd just known the game would force me to make this decision, especially now that we knew what the pointing meant. If it could make noise, it would be laughing.
Wait, what if it's the opposite now, though? Whoever's pointed at, they survive. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. Choose me, Nadia begged. I can't do it anymore. It just says somebody, I said. I'm somebody. I can choose myself. Please, look at what I did to Rupert. I can't keep going after this. Even so, I readied my good hand to point at my own face. This ended now. I took one last look at my oldest friends, at Nadia bawling, but kind as ever, and at Todd's pale face, how it looked guilty. It's my fault, he whispered. All my fault. And you know what? He was right. This was his fault for demanding we play this terrible board game. I pointed at Todd.
Is that the end?
That's the end.
I thought it was going to be like he points at himself and then he watches them both
disintegrate.
Yeah. That's kind of worse, honestly. Not even going to lie. That would be it. So, I mean, Truth or Dare is kind of along those lines. Have you seen Truth or Dare?
Would you rather?
Or no, not Truth or Dare. Would you rather? That's what that was.
That was freaking gruesome, though. I would not watch that movie.
I watched that movie twice. Not necessarily because I wanted to. The first time it was like a double date thing, and then the second time I think I was with you guys.
Yeah.
When I watched it, it's good. Like, I don't know. In the term of like psychological horror, it's good. Yeah, it's really good. But in like, if you're not like the gory gruesomeness, don't watch it.
definitely
That was crazy. I like
disclaimers.
that. That was a
But
good
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Did you find one?
No.
Okay. I have another one then. We can do one more. There was one that was at the top. It's decently long. It might be as long as that one you just read, so we'll try and get through this somewhat quick. But it had pretty high reviews. Or high what's it called? Upvotes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a famous author. I've never written a word of my books. You've seen my books. No, I'm not going to tell you which books, nor who I am, so don't ask. I assure you, though, if you're a big reader, or even sort of a reader, you've probably read or at least heard of some of my stuff. My stuff in the hypothetical sense of the phrase. As the title says, I was never actually the one who wrote my books. Again, don't ask me who really did, not because of privacy or theft laws or anything. I just don't know. I used to be a plumber, of all things. Not the most glamorous profession, but it paid pretty well, seeing how almost nobody wanted to do it. My dad trained me right out of high school, and pretty soon I'd save enough to move to my own apartment. A few years later, I decided I may as well sell my soul and get locked into a mortgage, because at least then the rent money wouldn't be going to waste. The idea was to get a few roommates and have them pay for my house. But I'm a private person. It's not that I liked living alone per se, but I never had many friends growing up. I didn't know who to invite to the other rooms. The idea of strangers moving in with me... I read. That's what you do when you're 26 and you don't have friends.
Well,
you read books and you pretend you do have friends. And when you finish one book and realize you're still alone, you pick up the next one. It's a bit like alcohol. You have to drink another glass in the morning to recover from the damage of the glass you had the night before. Except nobody ever applauds you for getting drunk as a hobby the way they do for reading. If all that sounds like a terribly depressed way to view life, well, it's probably because I am, however you want to say it. I was in what you might call a drought period, one of those many times when you read something exceptional the month before, and now you can't find anything that compares to it. I tried a few series, but nothing piqued my interest, and I had given up. I resorted to watching Friends for the 13th time instead. That's when I found The Basement. Basement is a strong word. Crawl space is more accurate. I was pulling up the carpeting in one of the guest rooms during some renovations, and there it was. This flat door with a brass handle on the closet floor. Like any new home owner, I opened it and hopped down. Rot, mildew, and something metallic all bundled into one sit. Maybe a cat had died here? I was 4, possibly 4.5 feet tall. Not I. It.
yeah, I was like, you're short. Short.
That's what I was like, whoa. It was 4, possibly 4.5 feet tall. I had to stoop all the way over to shuffle forwards. I was barely 10 steps in when it appeared on the ground. A stack of papers. They weren't in any sort of envelope, no rubber band holding them together, or even a staple. About 20 sheets were stacked on top of one another, perfectly white as if they'd just come from the printer, even though nobody had been down here for years, judging from the age of the carpet. The passage ended a little after that, so I grabbed the papers, climbed out, and closed the trapdoor. It wasn't until that night when I'd finished tearing out the carpet and the emptiness of the house was getting to me that I actually stopped to read the papers, the story on them. I was enthralled. I didn't move until I'd finished them, but each word, each sentence gripped me and dragged me in. It was real. That's what it felt like. The story on paper was reality, and my life was the fake thing made of ink. If only I could keep reading, I could keep living, and I turned to the last page. The story stopped mid-sentence. I flipped through the pages over and over, hoping somehow I'd missed a page, that there was more. I reread the entire thing. Then again. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning I called in sick. I paced the house. I tried watching TV. I tried reading, but nothing worked. I was obsessed. I had to finish the story, but the ending didn't even exist. After 2 days of this, I'd had enough. I'll bury it, I thought. I'll bury it and my mind will accept it's over. Instead of digging a hole, though, I went back to the crawl space. I would leave it there, where I found it, and try to forget the story. When I went back down, a fresh stack of pages awaited me. That's how it started. New pages would appear until the old ones were read, and that was no problem. I read them with a savage hunger, chapter after chapter. I called in sick to work again, but when my dad tried to come visit, I told him not to, that he'd only get sick. I'd read for hours and hours, taking trips back down the crawl space where new pages would await me, until finally, it was finished. The end. I popped on one more time just to see if there was some sort of epilogue, but the crawl space was empty. The story was over. For weeks I searched online for clues about who had written the story. Nothing came up. I reached out to the past owner of the house. "There's a crawl space?" they asked me. "We never knew." I sat on the book for weeks and weeks, obsessed but resolved to give it up, to put it past me. Eventually I reached out to some literary words are hard agents. One more sip of alcohol to cure the hangover. From what I hear, it takes months and months of waiting to hear back after you reach out to agents. The ones I reached out to took days. Each of them requested to read the whole book, and each of them offered me contracts within the week. "You're the best writer I've ever signed," said the agent I went with. I didn't correct her. Publishing went much the same. It should have taken months. Within weeks, I had signed with a major publishing house. The editing process that should have taken months took days. "I can't imagine changing a word of this," my editor told me. "You're an amazing writer." I said nothing. Most authors face mediocre success at best. The ones you hear about, those are the exceptions. For every career author, there's 100 authors that may never make back their advance. That should have been my expectation. But even then I knew. I knew something was different about this book. Not the way I'd found it, but the things it did to me, to others. It was enthralling in a way that blinding a kitten crawling towards a cliff is enthralling. Sorry, I read that so wrong.
Yeah.
It was enthralling in a way a blind kitten crawling towards a cliff is enthralling. Once you glance at it, you can't look away. Sure enough, it was a bestseller. It won awards. I earned back my advance in weeks. They invited me to talk shows and conventions, but I declined them all. "Don't get used to this," I told myself. It was one book, and it wasn't even yours. The inflow of money was great. Fantastic, really. But I didn't quit my regular job. It wasn't like I'd be writing another book, and eventually everybody would calm down. They'd forget about my book, and I'd be forgotten. The friends would stop calling. Things would go back to normal. And then, one night, when I couldn't sleep, after I'd spent hours staring up at the ceiling of my lonely bedroom, I went back down. Some deep, slumbering part of me had already known they'd be there. The new pages. That was how it all worked the first time, after all. I had to read the pages for new ones to appear. It made sense. I would have to publish the last book for a new one to appear. I read the new chapters. I visited the crawl space 10 more times that night until I'd finished the whole thing. Then the next day, I quit my job. And so began my new life. I timed it purposefully. Every 6 to 8 months, I would submit my new manuscript. Every 6 months, I would take a trip back down to the cellar. Each book released shot me back up to the top of the bestseller list. Money rolled in steadily, more than I knew what to do with. It wasn't like I was going to buy a new house. No, that was much obvious.
Much too obvious.
Sorry, hold on. I need to switch hands. My hand's cramping. That much was obvious. I would live where I did until I died, because I needed to. For my career, I told myself, I have to stay here for my career. Even then, though, I think I knew I wasn't staying there to support my lifestyle. It was a nice perk. Being rich certainly had its benefits, but it was about the books. It was always about the books. I reread them constantly. What else was there to do? The hours most writers take to write was free time for me. Might as well read, reread, consume. At first, I would see how long I could go without picking up one of my books. 1 day, 2, 3, that was the limit, I discovered. By day 3, my palms would get sweaty and my stomach would start cramping. Eventually, I stopped resisting. Reading was all I did with my time. I quit all other books. I did try to read them, but none of them satisfied me. They were flat, like a 2D version of the 3D stories of the crawlspace gave me. They were the lotus flowers from the Greek myths. Once you try one, regular food could never taste the same. At least it's just me, I told myself. One small comfort. I could fade away, give in, and that was all right. Nobody would be harmed. Besides my dad, nobody cared about me. I wasn't hurting anybody. I convinced myself that that was the truth. I really believed the books were just affecting me until my first book signing. I'm not entirely sure what convinced me to do it. Maybe it was my agent or publisher who'd both pestered me to do one for years. Partially, it was just due to one of the rare recovery periods where I was actively trying to stop reading, always to little success. But I did one, my very first book signing. The bookstore filled up, literally. They were turning people away. Hundreds showed up to meet me, the false author of these best-selling books. They were so excited to meet me. I saw the anticipation as I did a reading. I was almost looking forward to the book signing despite the hours-long line. Yours are my favorite books, one woman told me. These are what got me into reading, said another. They're the only thing I read now. Glad to hear it, I said, chuckling as I signed. I looked up. The man wasn't smiling. I'm not, he said. He walked away. I started noticing it then. The jittery look in the eyes, the way people desperately clutched their copies of my books, and not in a loving way. Not like a child clinging to a teddy bear, more like victims of the Titanic hanging from the rails as it tipped. What else do you read? I asked the teenager and her father. The teenager shook her head. Nothing. Why would I? To another fan holding a battered copy, I asked, how many times have you read it? She laughed nervously. I don't know. I can't remember. She burst into tears. I can't stop. Why can't I stop? Almost nobody reacted as she tore out of the bookstore, sobbing. It was in all of them, that frantic obsession in me. Their simultaneously loathing and love for the books. Some of them outright scowled at me, like they hadn't wanted to come, but hadn't been able to resist. It was the very last woman in line who scared me the most. She didn't even look up at me. She stared down at the book at her hands, the very first one I'd ever published. She never responded to my questions. She never put it down. I recognized the cover. It was the first edition of my first book, which meant she'd been one of the earliest people to ever pick me up. Her eyes were bloodshot. Her teeth were falling out like she couldn't spare the time to brush them, and her skin was a sickly yellow. I never did another book signing. It gets worse as time goes on. That's what I've realized. The longer you read them, the more dependent you are on them. I tried to stop publishing. Of course I have, 12 times. Look at what my books are doing to people. Look at what they'll continue to do. Even if I could stop, though, it wouldn't matter. Once you've tasted the lotus petal, you can never go back. No one I've talked to has been able to quit once they've read something from the crawl space. All those people at the book signing, all my thousands and thousands of readers, it's too late for them. It's way too late for me. My hair falls off in clumps now, my skin is yellow, and my teeth, nearly all of them are gone. Even so, I continue, year after year, climbing down through that trap door, sending off my manuscripts to the publisher. I can't stop. I don't want to anymore. It's easier to just give in, sip by sip by sip. It's almost a relief to grab the pages in the crawl space and pump them out into the world. That's the only way I get more of them, and it's not like I can write my own stories. This entire time, I've never written a word myself. Not one. Not even these ones.
Bruh.
Jeez. That is insane. That was so good. Whoever wrote that, someone said, I can read and brush my teeth.
Applaud.
So good. That one was like, that ending was really good. If you are not a writer, if you're listening to this, I know you most likely are not, and you're not a writer, you need to be a writer. We'll see if I stumble upon one of these books. Just kidding.
Yeah, literally. Dude, that'd be terrible though.
That would.
I'm
already not that great of a reader, but somebody. Jenna more likely is to become obsessed with these books.
I would be the one to find that book one night. Just pick it up one day. Oh, this looks interesting.
I want to read this.
And then you show up one day and you're like, "Are you okay? I haven't slept in 8 days."
It's a caffeine badge. I haven't slept in 8 days.
Almost no side effects.
Sorry.
Oh gosh.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that one was good. Yours was good too. That first one was it was okay.
Equivalent to 12 cups of coffee.
Side effects. Oh my gosh. I've probably watched that movie way too many times in the past like couple of weeks. Honestly, I think I've watched it like 3 times.
All those movies are just like engraved in my brain. There's no quote that leaves. It's like the most useless quotes are the ones that I remember the most.
There's no point to them. Literally, like they're the most out of pocket thing, and then
Like,
that's what we remember.
My favorite one to quote is like, "I'm not a nobody, I'm a wiener." Oh, freaking love that quote
Gosh.
every time. That one is like, "Well, he's your baby." If you never want to use the term "not my monkeys, not my circus," just be like, "Well, he's your baby." That's how I use that quote, like almost on the daily. That one and Mom, is this water sanitary? It looks questionable to me. Anyway, okay, we need to get to bed. It's so
I'm
late right
so
now.
tired, and I have to drive.
It's almost 11 o'clock. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe or follow us on Spotify. We are on Spotify, YouTube, and eventually, hopefully, Apple Podcast.
Instagram.
And yes, follow us on Instagram. I'll link that down in the description below. And thank you all, and we will see you next time. Bye.